Hey guys, Tyler here. So I'm here today to talk to you about oxygen, why it's important for our bodies, why we need it to survive and do our daily tasks, and what happens when we don't have it, and ways and things we can do to actually increase our oxygen intake daily, and the types of benefits that we can derive from doing this. So number one, let's talk about oxygen first. So our cells end up needing oxygen daily. They need a daily intake and supply of it to be able to produce something called ATP, which is our cell's energy to be able to do its daily tasks, its functions. And when our cells aren't able to produce this ATP, we can experience all types of things like fatigue, poor endurance, and lack of energy really tend to be some of the things we find when we don't have enough oxygen. Something else that tends to really be dependent on oxygen is our brain's ability to function cognitively. If we're not getting a supply of oxygen, oftentimes we'll have problems concentrating. We can experience things like memory loss, and even with older people, we hear all the time the types of things that can happen when the brain doesn't have oxygen. A lot of terrible stuff can end up happening to it. The immune system also uses up a lot of oxygen, and it needs it too. One of the things it uses it for is for our antibodies to be able to kill off the pathogens, the viruses, the bacteria, and these types of things. And also the heart as well really needs oxygen too. Actually, most heart problems are a direct result of cutoff of oxygen. So our heart really needs oxygen too to be able to function. It helps with our circulation. So these are all the things that can tend to pile up or tend to happen if we really don't have an adequate supply of oxygen in the body. So what do we do to increase our daily oxygen intake? We could do some deep breathing exercises. There's all types of good things. However, there's one that's particularly stood out to me, and I really like stuff from India. I find the yoga lifestyle and all of that to be extremely awesome and fun. So something I've been doing to really intake oxygen at a massive level each day in huge quantities is a practice called pranayama, and it literally means, it translates into breath pause. So this is something that the yogis, the spiritual gurus, the masters of India came up with thousands of years ago. And literally what it is, it's manipulating your breath. It's changing the way you breathe and doing it for a long period of time. And there's two exercises in particular I'm going to talk about today that I do each day that I find really help center me, help to bring energy to my body, alleviate a lot of things like allergies, mucus, fatigue. So and it actually help with circulation too. So I'm going to get into two practices that I do. But before I get into that, I want to set the stage for practicing pranayama, some things you might really want to take into consideration. So first, air quality is the most important aspect of pranayama. So I actually have with me right here my air purifier. It's pretty big. I keep it on my dresser, and I find it to be a valuable resource, especially if I'm going to be breathing in deeply for like a half hour or so. I really want to make sure the air I'm breathing is of good quality, because I mean, if it's not, then I'm just breathing garbage into my body. Especially with older style buildings, older building materials, we really want to watch the kind of stuff we're breathing in. So an air purifier may be a very good idea. Something the yogis actually would do, and this is a recommendation from them, is to actually burn a little bit of incense before you practice, just a tiny bit, just to really set the mood and be able to cleanse a lot of the energy in the air. So that's something that you may want to consider doing too. All you need is really a little bit. I wouldn't, gas the room with incense or anything. That might not be the best idea, especially doing deep breathing. It's a lot of smoke. So just a tiny amount can be sufficient. Experiment, maybe try some different types of incenses, see which ones really resonate well with you, and from there go out and see if that's something you want to implement into your own practice. So some general guidelines for pranayama. You want to do it particularly on an empty stomach, not when you're really hungry, but not when you're full of food either. You don't want to do it when you're really thirsty, when you're really tired, or when you're in like an emotional upset. These are not times to practice pranayama. It can be very intensive. It stimulates the energy channels of the body too, as well as the body physically, especially physically. So I would really encourage you guys to be in a good frame of mind. Do it when you're not full of food and when you physically feel okay. for myself, I practice this probably the first 40 minutes I'm awake in the morning, because I find, I've drank in some water, I haven't eaten breakfast yet. It's a great time to do it, especially because it's so energizing and clarifying. Doing this at the beginning of the day can really help to take away a lot of the fatigue, a lot of the fog that the inertia we can experience from waking up after sleeping. So doing this right in the beginning of the day can really help to get your day started. There's a loud car passing. So with that being said, I'm going to discuss the two types of pranayama I'll be showing you guys today. They're both great. So the first one is called Nadi Shodhanam, and it literally means to clear the channels. It's channel purification. Cleanses the nervous system. It balances both of the brain hemispheres and engages them and stimulates them. It helps with concentration. Helps rejuvenation of energy, and it's very, very calming. You'll find yourself feeling very centered upon doing this exercise. So I'll explain it. A tool you will need is literally your hand. It's pretty easy. The mudra that I'm doing, mudra is a hand gesture. It's called Vishnu mudra, and all you really do is you take the pointer finger and the middle finger and you just tuck them in so your hand looks like this. And the idea is you can close one nostril with the thumb and the other one with the other two fingers. So this is the mudra you need. And the idea is you would start the practice in the morning by inhaling and then exhaling through the left nostril. And then inhaling through the left nostril. Then closing the left and exhaling through the right. And then inhaling through the right. And that is how you would go about doing Nadi Shodhanam. Now some guidelines for this one. You want to inhale to your fullest capacity as slowly as possible. So breathe in through the nostril until you know you really can't breathe in anymore. And you want to do it very, very slowly. And you want to count each time you're breathing in. So 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, 4, 5, until you reach your capacity, and then you exhale. And when you exhale, you also count the exhales. And the idea is to get these numbers in sync with one another. You want to get the exhale and the inhale to be the same duration. So start off slow. Really find out your own capacity. Don't rush this. Take it at a really slow pace. So count the inhales, count the exhales. Breathe into your fullest capacity as slowly as possible. So one round of Nadi Shodhanam, one round of pranayama, is once you have exhaled, inhaled, exhaled, inhaled. So once you are about to repeat exhaling through the left nostril, the nostril you started on, that is when you have accomplished one round. So for this, the yogis say to practice it for 48 minutes a day. That can be a very long time. Start off slow. Start maybe with like 7 rounds, and work your way up from there. You'll really get a feel for this, and if it's something that's exciting for you, you'll feel the benefits right away. And if you want to go for as long as you want to, by all means, I encourage you to do so. It's a great practice. So I'll be demonstrating Nadi Shodhanam, so just follow along with me and take it at your own pace. So I will show you how to do Nadi Shodhanam. Now, a good position to do for this, a good seating posture, is called Siddhasana, and that's called the accomplished pose. And it may take a little bit of stretching for you to get fully comfortable doing this. However, it's not as hard to get into as things like half lotus or full lotus. So if those poses tend to be a little bit more difficult for you and you don't have, let's say, like a yoga block or a zafu or something you can sit on, like a seat to elevate your position, this can be a really good seating position to use. So I'll demonstrate that, and I'll show you some Nadi Shodhanam. So to do Siddhasana, you take your foot, particularly your left foot, and you tuck it right at the perineum, which is between the sex organs and the butt. So you'd sit on top of that, just like this, and then you would take that other leg and bring it in right near the inner thigh, tucking it in pretty tightly. And you end up sitting like this. And it's a great position because you're able to comfortably sit without a seat or anything. You can sit right on the ground and you'll be okay. And at the same time too, your back can remain perfectly straight. So, Nadi Shodhanam. We'll start by exhaling through the left nostril, and we'll finish with that too. And there you go. That is Nadi Shodhanam. Now, something I would like to mention, when you've actually finished exhaling and then you go to inhale, you want to make that transition as soon as you're finished. There's no holding of the breath. The inhale and the exhale transfer, crossover is very immediate. So, that is Nadi Shodhanam. The next practice we're going to get into is called Bhastrika. And Bhastrika is a little different than Nadi Shodhanam. There's some similar elements that cross between the two of them, but altogether it's a much different practice. So some of the benefits of Bhastrika is you're actually over-oxygenating your blood. You're taking in so much oxygen, it's actually more than you end up needing. And the idea is that it'll carry throughout the day with you. So some of the benefits of this, you end up having better circulation. It alleviates a lot of things like mucus, allergies, asthma. You'll actually develop most likely an immunity too. You'll have a superior immune system. You'll be able to fight off things like pathogens, viruses, bacteria at a greater level than if you weren't doing this practice. It's also very energizing, very stimulating. The yogis kind of compare it to giving a deep tissue massage to the nervous system. It kind of shocks your body, and it's especially in the morning. This will wake you up, no problem at all. So I'll explain how to do this real quick. The idea is to inhale into the gut, into your tummy, to your fullest capacity. And using both nostrils, once you've inhaled to your fullest capacity, you exhale pretty quickly, like as rapidly and as fully as you can, like a... And then from there, you'd inhale fully. So like this. So it's an inhale, a full inhale and a full exhale. And the yogis say to use the exhale like a blacksmith hitting a hammer. So the inhale would be like the hitting the hammer, or raising the hammer, and the exhale would be hitting the hammer. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And the more rounds you do, the faster at this you'll get. So start off pretty slow. It can be tiring at first because it really tests your endurance and helps to develop it. So start off slow, do it until you're kind of tired, and then maybe a few hours later, that evening or the next day, pick it up, go a little bit further. The idea with this one is to do it about 20 exhales, and to do in total about 100 exhales. So let me explain the rounds real quick. So the idea of that, you want to reach 20 exhales doing that. Once you've reached the 20th exhale, you inhale doing the Vishnu mudra. You inhale through the right nostril and then hold your breath. And while you're holding the breath, gaze down at the tip of your nose and create a slight pressure on the stomach. So hold your breath for as long as you're comfortable for. As long as it's not going to interfere with your breathing, it's a good amount. I would start slow, maybe holding the breath for about 7 seconds, maybe about 10. Once you've done this, you close the right nostril and you exhale that breath you were holding through the left. And then you inhale through the left. Hold that breath again. Pressure on the tummy, looking at the tip of the nose for that 7 seconds, that 10 seconds, however long it is. From there, once that time's up, close the left nostril and inhale through the right. And that is one round of Bhastrika. So if you wanted to continue after that right nostril exhalation, you would inhale your belly fully again, do the blacksmith breathing, exhale, inhale with 20 exhales. Then remember, on that 20th exhale, inhale through the right nostril, hold the breath, and then continue. So that's how Bhastrika is done. So now I'll demonstrate how to do both of these pranayamas. So I'm going to show you guys how to do Bhastrika. Now again, this is the one that has the rapid inhale to the fullest capacity, and then the even more rapid exhale to the fullest capacity. The blacksmith breathing, the inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So that's the one I'm going to be showing you guys today. And the seating position is a little bit different than for Nadi Shodhanam. In this one, we are actually going to be doing a half lotus seated position, which you again can accomplish with a little bit of stretching. So Siddhasana would not be appropriate for this one. So I'll show you guys how to do this. And again, once the rapid blacksmith breath breathing is finished and you've done 20 exhales, remember, on that moment right after you've done that last exhale, you close the left nostril, inhale through the right, eyes are shut while you do this, then you hold the breath and gaze at the nose, and that's when your eyes are open. And then exhale through the left, inhale through the left, hold the breath again for as long as you can while being comfortable, and then exhaling again through the right. So I will demonstrate Bhastrika for you guys. So that right there is one round of Bhastrika, and if I wanted to continue, once I have exhaled fully through the right nostril, I would inhale into my stomach as full as possible, so it's all the way filled with oxygen, and then from there I would go back to the rapid exhale, inhale, and then continue going back and forth, holding the breath, and that is how you do Bhastrika. Awesome. So that is how you do Nadi Shodhanam and Bhastrika pranayamas. So practice these, get a feel for them, take them slow. Again, if you're doing any of these and something doesn't feel quite right with your body, you feel a bit of uncomfortable feelings, take a moment, get yourself together, maybe alter the way you're doing it, really get a feel for how these can work for you. Remember to take it slow, and if you have questions, always, you can always search the internet for these things. Some yoga teachers know how to do these very, very well, so you can always, again, go to them and ask them some questions. I'm sure they'd be happy to help you. Most of them are very kind. And also, too, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on variations of these two breathing exercises and how to do them. So if you're unsure, maybe want to broaden your avenues and explore other ways to do this, how other people are doing them, by all means, look up how other practitioners do these poses and these breathing postures. So also with that too, there's a very excellent book I would want to recommend to you. Anyone who's really aspiring to become accomplished in pranayama, find a teacher. They can help you with these practices. And also too, there's a great book called The Path of Fire and Light by Swami Rama, where he in depth explains each of these practices, and it's great. The book really helped me to fine tune my own practice and to really have a sense of certainty that I was doing a lot of these techniques correctly. So it's a very good book, and again, doing these practices each day can allow for some very positive physiological changes to take place in you, especially a mental and emotional changes as well. Centeredness, great health benefits, and proper oxygenation of your system, one of the key components to achieving an awesome, balanced state of perfect health. So, with that being said, my name is Tyler Ellison. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.